there are a lot of moments in Family Guy where it's like even like in this episode, Carter's doctor is Dr. House.
Yes.
And it's like...
and it's also... It's actually Hugh Laurie voicing him.
Yeah, he's the guest star of the week.
Dr. House, if you're going to save this patient, you'll need this. Get this thing out of my sight!
Well, wait a second. How are you going to play by the rules if you don't have the rule book? Oh.
Yeah, which, like, I guess... I mean, they were both Fox shows, so maybe is a tie-in they were trying to promote, but also, like, what Family Guy viewer is like, oh, I gotta check out House, you know?
Right.
House.
Roadhouse.
That too.
It plays so much in like the early nebula of the way that memes and references as a humor source that it's hard to tell what's a reference that we're going to get, what is them maybe like osmosisly just taking a form of a joke and putting it in, because the show has so many episodes, so many bits in every episode, and it's almost like untreaded territory to where they could get away with things like what you're talking about. Of like, did you know that? Am I supposed to understand this, or is this something? Or is it just random? Like you're watching iCarly. iCarly isn't referencing some esoteric novel from the '60s. It's random because there's pickles in the bathtub or something. And that's kind of about how like things have gotten more disconnected, where it's like randomness without reference versus Family Guy's like the randomness of the reference. You're laughing because you're like, oh, I haven't thought about The King and I in years. What the hell? I haven't thought about Dr. House is on the show. That's random. But I know who Dr. House is because I love Fox shows. Yeah. And it's like, it plays in that. And I think that as it goes on, that becomes a little bit, I mean, by the fact, it's like the same thing late night talk show hosts go through, where comedy, what are you going to do? You're going to write a monologue that's better than the bits that are on Twitter? Obviously not Twitter now. They actually probably do better now. But like back in the day when like half of people that became comedians and are now internet personalities were just typing away every time something happened, trying to get the best bit, it grew into something that I think, I don't know, this is an interesting moment for television and the way that humor has evolved with memes. And memes are sort of like memetics and like the idea of like, the way that you understand a reference. I mean, they had to have been thinking about these things, which is maybe not as well.
Well, I think you're right, but I also think that part of the reason Family Guy survived, even amongst the young people, even younger than us, is because they were always kind of meme-based, even if we didn't know that that's what it was at the time. And the way that just content consumption has evolved has made it so that Family Guy is actually really easy to break up into TikToks or Instagram Reels or like just images. I mean, think about how many just meme image macros come from Family Guy, you know? Yep. Just Family Guy alone. There's so many that's just like the little pictures, because that's what they always were. Family Guy was always a meme, you know?
It's like a reference book.
Yeah.
On Twitter, I see all the time, every time Hassan Piker tweets, they put a picture of Brian in the outfit that he's wearing because they say that he is our Brian Griffin. Brian Griffin is a fictional character. He's not our Brian Griffin.
He's
Brian
not real.
Griffin is nobody's Brian Griffin.
Yeah. But I think kind of what it points to beyond that is in the way that I think I've certainly felt, and maybe you have as well, in that I know a lot of movies and TV shows and books and stuff, and I think that makes me smart. And beyond that, I think that knowing a lot of this stuff makes the work I do good and better than other people who don't know a lot of that stuff. And I think there is an undercurrent that gets a lot stronger and more explicit when we get later on into the show, but was present from the beginning and is evident here, where Family Guy kind of always was a bit peeved they were never thought of as like a critical heavyweight. Like they even in the thing people forget is it was a cult favorite, certainly in the first few seasons when it was canceled and on the brink, but the critics never liked it. It was never a show people even like, and this was people who liked The Simpsons and who gave South Park its flowers and stuff. But people in charge, it's had like 3 Emmy nominations in 25 years, you know, like it was never a hit. And it's one thing if you're like, fuck that, who cares? Like, this is not for you, you know, like we know we're good, but they clearly do. And I think it's because they're aware of all of this pop culture and they do put stock into the pop culture, trademarks, you know, like in the same way Seth cares about like the big old fast and show business. He wants to be in that tradition, but he is just the way his creativity communicates itself, and I think just also just the level of writer he is has never been on par with those other shows. At least, stylistically, certainly. We can argue qualitatively. But, and I think it gets to him. Because, look, the Big Bang Theory joke, in this episode, they're making fun of the Big Bang Theory, even though they actually got those same actors again. But it's yeah, man, the stuff that people get shit on the Big Bang Theory for, stereotypes about nerds and making references to, comic books, that's what Family Guy is. What do you think people you're doing?
I don't know, dude. It's just sometimes how it plays out sometimes, I guess. There's the haves and the have-nots in everything, and it's Family Guy just never had... It wasn't a critical darling. It's a show of the people, and that is, in my opinion, the better play.
Yeah.
People love this show. I don't see TikToks with clips of Simpsons or South Park.
Because it's
Family
much more
Guy
difficult.
is infinite. It's infinite.
Yeah.
And I think what you just said is an amazing point. And it's so funny because I host trivia nights, and I've made a term which is trivia night guy. It's a guy that comes to my trivia nights and believes he is smart because he knows about Star Wars, Transformers. He knows about Beyonce albums. His cultural knowledge is a very wide spectrum. But this guy couldn't build a rocket or the practical knowledge that you require to do any of these jobs is very high, and a lot of these people don't have any. I mean, most of us, it's as this is so bigger than the stupid Family Guy podcast, but as we have evolved to be highly intelligent beings with nothing to do, all we do is obsess over our cultural artistic artifacts, and so we just become very well versed in knowing who hosted this episode of SNL, why this thing happened on The Tonight Show. And we know not only these guys like you and me, not only will we know all the references because of a show like Family Guy, but then you start to be well, actually, I know a little bit about the behind the scenes. I actually know about history, too, because
There's always more.
And it's this is actually the real PSYOP, if you're going to talk about, because it is if it all works out for me and you, and we end up doing this stuff professionally, which who knows, we're working towards it. We'll have it been worth it. But if we're 65 years old and we're sitting on our laurels, and all we do is know so much about Star Trek, it's what was my life?
What were we doing? Well, that's the exact thing. It's to your point, certainly, cannot build a functional rocket, but then even the step below of it can just help you artistically, from a purely creative standpoint. Does knowing all of this stuff help you write a funny joke, help you write a good script, help you act well? Maybe not. It's not a one-to-one, As so many episodes of Family Guy can show you, knowing a bunch of references doesn't mean you can make good comedic television.
And how many times, we're both comics, how many times do you see a comic and you're sitting back, this is very niche, but I know the reference, and I think you're clever, but no,
it's not a joke.
They don't know the reference. You're relying on people's ability to know something, and if they don't, now you're explaining a reference to people on stage. There's nothing worse than a comedian explaining the plot to, I don't know, Pluto Nash to an. It's why are we sitting here? What are you referencing? And it is the comedian now is almost someone, if you're not revealing personal information or criticizing something, you have to only play within the spectrum of what 90% of people know about. And because there's so many niches, I can't make jokes about K-pop or a specific niche joke. Go to Twitter to your subculture. Go to Tumblr, if that was still a thing, and you'll get humor about those things. But I think a little bit sometimes when it feels like someone who's a really popular comedian and you're watching them, or a really popular show, it's this is a little dull. It's because they have no idea what the frame of reference for the general population is. We're not all watching TV. So when we all watch the TV, we all knew. I don't know if it was your episode. It was your episode. Ends with a Brady Bunch bit. It's it's we all know the shows because we all grew up on the same channels, the same things that's fed to us, and it was all singular. These are the musicians. These are the books. This is the government. This is what we watch. Now, Lord, no. There's people who believe in lizard people and the earth is flat. And it's like, how do you appeal to these people? Like, how do you appeal to everyone? And you can't, because not everyone shares the same frame of reference. And I think Family Guy runs into that a little bit too, which is why even like on the Orville, which is a show that ended like 4 years ago, it's a lot of references to our time and our past. They'll reference things that happened in like the 50s and 60s. And it's like, this show takes place 500 years in the future. Yet a lot of the things that end up happening are talking about the media that I wasn't even alive for. So I just think, yeah, I mean, it's so fascinating. And that's why it's interesting to do a show about Family Guy, because it is such a thing of like the way that media evolved and the way that it's like what is a Rosetta Stone?
Yeah, man. It's our favorite phrase of this show.